It was late at night on the way to work when a movement in the shadows caught a rescuer's eye. It was an old dog, all alone on the street, and it was clear something was very wrong. The poor dog could barely walk. He would take just a few steps, then have to stop, and then lie down on the cold pavement just to rest. He was completely exhausted. It seemed like someone had just left him there, or perhaps he had run away and was now hopelessly lost, especially at his old age. The rescuer had to get to work, but the sad image of that struggling old dog stayed in their mind all night long. As soon as work finished the next morning, the rescuer went straight back to that same spot, just hoping the dog was still there. And he was. When the old dog saw the person approaching, he just looked up at them with the saddest, most tired eyes they had ever seen. He didn't have the energy to get up, but his gaze followed them, a sort of broken, pleading look. In that single moment, the rescuer decided to call him Chubby. As the rescuer walked past him, Chubby tried his best to get up and follow. He moved so slowly, and you could see it was with great difficulty, but he was trying. The rescuer patiently waited for him every time he had to stop and rest. It was too much to see. The thought of this old dog being so homeless and struggling all alone was unbearable. The rescuer couldn't just leave him there. So, they gently helped him and made the decision to take him home. Once they were safely inside, the first thing was to offer him some food and fresh water. But Chubby was so tired, or maybe just so sad, that he couldn't even bring himself to eat at first. He just seemed overwhelmed. After he finally got some food down, it was time for a bath. He was very dirty from the streets. The rescuer gently picked him up and placed him in the warm water. Chubby just stood there, seeming to enjoy the feeling of the warmth. His rescuer noticed that he seemed both polite and sad at the same time, as if he was grateful but also heartbroken and maybe wasn't used to this kind of kindness anymore. After the bath, he was carefully dried with a soft towel. The rescuer took their time, and it really felt like Chubby liked it. It was probably the first time he had felt safe, warm, and comfortable in a very long time. The very next day, they went straight to the doctor to get him checked out. The veterinarian gave Chubby a thorough examination to see what was wrong with him and why he was so weak. The news was actually very surprising. The doctor said that aside from just being very old, Chubby was in good health. It was during this visit that the rescuer learned the truth about his past. It turned out that Chubby was 19 years old. He wasn't a stray who had been on the streets his whole life. He once had a family, but for some awful reason, they had abandoned him. They had left a 19-year-old dog all alone to fend for himself. Hearing this broke the rescuer's heart. At that exact moment, the decision was made. This wasn't going to be a temporary stop for Chubby. The rescuer was going to officially adopt him and promised to give him all the love and loyalty he deserved for whatever time he had left. So, the rescuer took him home, but this time it was for good. This was his new, forever home. But the healing journey was really just beginning, especially for his heart. At first, Chubby was still very sad and seemed emotionally broken. He clearly missed the family he once knew, maybe even his old dog parents or siblings from long ago. He spent most of his time just sleeping, which was not surprising for a dog his age, but he also actively avoided his new rescuer. He would keep his distance, as if he was afraid to trust again. But his new person was patient. They gave him space, kindness, and time to heal. Slowly, over time, a wonderful change began to happen. Chubby started to grow attached. He started to show little signs of trust. He would come closer, and that sad, broken look in his eyes started to fade away. He began to give his trust and his love back to the person who had stopped for him. And ultimately, he grew to love his new life and his new person very, very much. Now, Chubby's life is beautiful. He is no longer that sad, abandoned dog. He goes out for walks and strolls. He even plays and has fun, showing little bursts of energy that are amazing to see for his advanced age. He spends his days feeling safe, loved, and happy. He has a wonderful, enjoyable time with the person who saw him that night and refused to look away. Tell us your rescue story in the comments.